This is no ordinary man, this is the Emperor of Hindustan. The last drop of blood from a dynasty that once ruled the richest empire in the world. The same rulers before whom the British once bowed their heads, begging for permission. Yet today, the last heir of that very lineage stands before those same British, pleading for his life. This is the last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, exiled, powerless, and broken. But why? Why did the Mughals face such humiliation and helplessness? Was it a British conspiracy? Betrayal from within? Or a hidden weakness that slowly hollowed out this great empire from the inside? Today, on Daricha, we tell the story of the rise and fall of the Mughal Empire, a story of praise and criticism alike, and both in equal measure. The story of the Mughal Empire does not begin with a grand victory or celebration, but with the tears of a defeated prince named Babur. History calls him the founder of the Mughal Empire, yet in reality he was a wanderer. The blood of two great conquerors flowed through his veins, Timur on his father's side and Genghis Khan on his mother's, yet he possessed no land he could truly call his own. Why? Although Babur conquered Hindustan, his true dream was not Delhi but Samarkand, the city of his ancestor Timur. He captured Samarkand 3 times and lost it 3 times, sometimes through defeat, sometimes through circumstance. Eventually, he wandered through the mountains of Central Asia with only a handful of loyal companions. Babur had a unique habit, he kept a diary, later known as the Baburnama. In it, he wrote, "I wander from place to place like a ball." With the northern gates closed to him, he turned south. Militarily, he was a brilliant commander. He captured Kabul, established a small kingdom, and from there marched toward Hindustan. This journey was not driven by ambition, but by necessity. He needed an empire to survive. In April 1526, Babur arrived at the plains of Panipat, where he faced Sultan Ibrahim Lodi of Delhi. Babur commanded roughly 12,000 soldiers, while Lodi's army was several times larger and supported by war elephants. But Babur possessed something Hindustan had never witnessed before, gunpowder artillery. As the battle began and the elephants advanced, Babur ordered his cannons to fire. The explosions and smoke terrified the elephants, which turned back and trampled their own army. Within hours, the battle was decided. A failed prince had become the conqueror of a new land. Thus the Mughal Empire was founded, though its rulers often considered themselves Timurids rather than Mughals. Ironically, Babur never truly liked Hindustan, not its climate, food, or people, yet he never returned. In 1527, he defeated Rana Sanga at the Battle of Kanwa, strengthening his rule over Delhi. But only 3 years later, in 1530, Babur died at the age of 47. His son Humayun succeeded him, kind-hearted and cheerful, but politically weak. He faced the brilliant Afghan leader Sher Shah Suri, who expelled the Mughals from Hindustan. Humayun spent 15 years in exile. During this wandering, in Umarkot, his son Akbar was born, a child who would later become the greatest ruler of Hindustan. With the help of the Safavid Shah of Persia, Humayun regained Delhi, but only 6 months later he died after falling from the stairs of his library. Now only 13-year-old Akbar remained. In 1556, at the Second Battle of Panipat, the Mughal army under Bairam Khan defeated Hemu, and Akbar became Emperor of Hindustan. Akbar realized that Hindustan could not be ruled by the sword alone, hearts had to be won. He formed alliances with Rajputs, arranged political marriages, and transformed the empire into a shared administrative system. During his reign emerged a new religious and intellectual policy later called Din-i-Ilahi, a concept historians still debate. After nearly 50 years of rule, Akbar was succeeded by his son Jahangir, who installed the famous chain of justice outside his palace so any citizen could directly seek royal justice. Though the empire appeared strong, real power gradually shifted into the hands of another figure, Nur Jahan. She was not merely a queen. She became the most influential political force in the empire. Royal decrees were issued in her name, coins were minted bearing her authority, and major court decisions reflected her will. This marked the moment when imperial power began fragmenting among personalities. Court factions formed, conspiracies increased, and rivalries among princes quietly intensified. After Jahangir's death in 1627, open conflict erupted over succession. Eventually, Shah Jahan ascended the throne. His reign represented the peak of Mughal grandeur. Magnificent buildings rose in Delhi, great forts were constructed, and the monument the world still recognizes as a symbol of love, the Taj Mahal, was built during his era. But this glory came at a cost. Enormous wealth was spent on royal constructions. The treasury weakened while administrative expenses continued to grow. Outwardly the empire shone in gold, but cracks had already formed beneath its foundations. Then came the moment that changed the empire's destiny, a brutal war of succession. Shah Jahan's four sons, Dara Shikoh, Shuja, Murad, and Aurangzeb, fought for power. Aurangzeb proved the most patient, ruthless, and politically skilled. He defeated his brothers, executed Dara Shikoh, and imprisoned his own father in Agra fort. In 1658, Aurangzeb Alamgir became emperor. He was an effective administrator and formidable military ruler, expanding the empire to its greatest territorial extent, stretching from the Deccan to Afghanistan. Yet this expansion became its greatest weakness. Continuous wars drained the treasury. Armies were scattered across distant regions. Local powers, especially the Marathas, grew stronger. Rebellions increased, and imperial administration weakened. With Aurangzeb's death in 1707, the true strength of the Mughal Empire faded. The emperors who followed ruled only in name. The court became a center of intrigue. Provinces gained autonomy, and governors effectively became independent rulers. Then, in 1739, an event shattered Mughal prestige forever. The Persian ruler Nader Shah invaded Delhi. The city was plundered, thousands were killed, and the famous peacock throne and the Kohinoor diamond were taken to Persia. For the first time, the world saw that the Mughal Empire was no longer invincible. Amid this weakness, a new power quietly established itself in Hindustan, the British East India Company. They arrived as traders but gradually entered politics and warfare. After the Battle of Plassey in 1757, the British were no longer merchants, they were emerging rulers. The Mughal emperors became symbolic figures. Real power had passed into British hands. Then came 1857. A massive uprising erupted across Hindustan. Soldiers, nobles, and common people rebelled against British rule. They chose an elderly, frail poet emperor as their symbol of hope, Bahadur Shah Zafar. He was neither a warrior nor a powerful ruler, but he was the final emblem of the Mughal legacy. The rebellion failed, the British entered Delhi. Princes were executed. Bahadur Shah Zafar was arrested and put on trial. An emperor of an age was now a prisoner. He was exiled to Rangoon, where he spent his final days in isolation. The ruler of what had once been the world's richest empire was left longing even for 2 yards of land for his grave. Thus, the Mughal Empire, founded in 1526, came to an end forever in 1857. This was not merely the fall of an empire, it was a story of power, pride, politics, and the cruelty of time. Because history teaches one enduring lesson. Empires do not fall by the sword alone. They collapse when they weaken from within.